Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode, a very fun, fantastic, protonic episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe Panther III, and tonight we have a fun episode for you fans. So introduce yourself to my internationally known audience.
Hello, everybody. This is your guy, your hero, your hometown hero. I am one half of the Titan Tag Team Champion. Also, I am a Super American Celebrity Boxing. Also, Celebrity Boxing Hall of Famer. Also, a 17.9 million sensational, internet sensational, just from knocking somebody out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is Frankie Pickard, and I'm here, and I've been wanting to be here for a while. I've done seen so many times. A lot of people told me about y'all, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this too.
Awesome, man. So like who trained you?
Drew Gulak.
Ooh,
So,
awesome. Yeah.
so when I first started, I started at Combat Zone Wrestling, and my first trainer, my head trainer was Drew Gulak, and he taught me everything, top to bottom.
So what kind of advice did Gulak give you on the style of wrestling you do? If my fans in the UK and all across and the other part of the country that they're just getting used to the American wrestlers that I talk to and they want to get used to you more, like what if you wanted to give them a hype about you,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say first to give them more of like an idea?
I'm more of a martial artist, so basically you can call it like a striker. Um, I basically I basically put that into my wrestling. As when Drew was teaching me, he was teaching me like the styles of like catch wrestling, like old school style, just like wrestling, hands on. As I got as I grew, I got used to certain styles. Drew always had a way of wanting to see if you'd be able to go beyond your limits. And I respect him for that. To see if we would do stuff at training, like we'll jump over the ropes, or we'll do like different styles just to see about your footing and the way you move and how fluent you are. And he was always like it's funny because there's a lot of people that will sit there and like the stuff that Drew will do, and then we have to copy what Drew did, and everybody's looking. It's like, we can't do all that. And he was like, oh, you sure you can? Just try. he was always like, just try. It's like if you don't try, you would never know. So, he was always amazing. He also looked at the like people image and people's gimmicks, and like he has an idea who you are, and it's like very very awesome to actually get a chance to know and learn and get taught by him from top to bottom.
Awesome. So, like, what were you thinking, and what was your energy like the first time you walked into the training facility to, like, do this big world of professional wrestling? You're, like, new at this. You've never like, you first saw the thing in the paper or online, what were you thinking the first time you, like,
So
you know
so the funniest part is me and my friend, we used to love wrestling, everything else. What got me hooked was I always followed The Rock. The Rock and Triple H feud, it caught me. It has everything. I was like, every time I looked at The Rock and Triple H feud, it felt like I was watching football. I
Mm.
I almost broke TVs.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because I was so mad. I was like, oh my god, how did Triple H get this win? I was like, The Rock was so close, blah blah blah. Um, and it was so fun. My friend, he was like a big fan of the Undertaker, so I used to come in, and my teacher at the time, um, she used to love. She said that every time you bring some type of energy in there because I always hype the class up. So every time I come in, usually sometimes I'll be late to go into class. So when I go into class, and I was like, finally, The Rock has come back to your math class. And there's, and it was funny and stuff. And then at the time, it was just, you know what? We're gonna do wrestling. I want to be a wrestler. So we were so hyped about saying it. And we was like, where can we find it? At the time, I only knew about WWE and well, at the time WWF and WCW. So I slipped up and found out about ECW because I used to watch kung fu flicks on this channel, and once it goes off, it went straight to wrestling. I said, wait, there's wrestling here. So I found out from ECW by accident. So then I knew only three places. So I was like, all right, let me find out. I don't understand. So I said, let me find out how can I get wrestling. So I started looking and looking, and then it was combat zone wrestling. So I didn't know anything about the indies at the time. So I called, me and my friend called, and he was like, DJ Hive was like, yeah, come down and um you want to do a tryout. So I was like, all right, cool. So we had set up a date to do the tryouts. So I'm all happy. I done had my shirt made, Frank 2.0 on there. So I was like, oh my God, we're going to become wrestlers. So me and my friend, today was that day. But my friend couldn't make it. My
Mm.
friend, he had work and everything else. So I took the initiative of going down there myself. And the tryout was insane. It was crucial. The amount of squats, push-ups, crunches, wall sits, or as they call them, Jericho's.
Mm.
Um, it was intense. Uh, And then I started finding out that the training facility it was set up to fail.
Mm.
Um, it then made me realize. He just told me, he was like, if you want to come back, and do this. I came back thinking that I was going for another tryout and stuff. I did not know that the tryout was nothing. It was a fail safe. It basically was taught if you wanted to come back. That's all it was. If this was for you and stuff. So I came, and I was introduced by Drew Gulak.
Mm.
I was and then Drew Gulak took over everything, and I basically learned a lot, fundamentals, from top to bottom. Um, that's basically it with that one.
Mm. So let's go a little further in. What was it? What were you thinking the first time you went through the curtain for your very first match?
uh, you know, it's weird because you have a lot of people will say, how would they say, stage fright or I never had that. Um, I was before going through the curtain, my heart was pounding. I was nervous. I didn't know how would the crowd react or anything else. And then once I heard my music played, I was like, okay, here we go. And I came out. Your body and your mind runs on instincts. And it's just like the emotions and the energy that the crowd gives you. It changes you.
Mm.
And puts you in the same tune that they are. And never was like scared or worried or anything else. So it was like an amazing feeling. It was like uh it's like coming out to a stadium full of people waiting to see you sing or something. So it was good. It was a good feeling, and um that's I can't even express how much it does. That's how much is like so crazy.
Like when you did that first match, did you have like your gear yet, or you were still wearing like shorts and like, or it's hard to say as you're gonna laugh, the male leggings, or did you have like
So
gear all
so
set up yet, or did
so
you just have like a t-shirt and a pair of like the shorts? You know what I mean?
so the first sort of
Like,
the time um the time when it was about to it was like we going to do shows and stuff. Drew Gulak was telling me, he was like, uh we need you in trunks and kick pads, and make sure they're blue. So he basically picked out, and I was like, I always hated blue. I said I just wanted to go with black and everything. He's like, why? That makes you naked. And I was like, what? He
because you're
said
playing,
black.
looks like you look like a creative character that hasn't been decorated yet with the black
Right.
tights. You know?
So right. So he was saying, because black and red was my favorite color, but then, he was saying, man, all of y'all just go using black and red as y'all first colors. He said, no, we going blue. So I went with blue, and I actually liked the color. I liked how it looked on me and everything. So I was still waiting for the trunks. The trunks haven't come in yet, but my first match was supposed to happen. So I was like, oh man, what I'm gonna do? So one of the friends that was was wrestling, he was like, dude, just go out there and get some speedos. It's like they wouldn't tell the difference.
Like you
They
can, am I
couldn't tell the
right? You
difference.
can go to a fucking Speedo store
You're
and
right.
like just pick up like you'd be like get like a bundle of Speedos. You can buy them for like probably like 50, 60 bucks or maybe like $100, and you just get like that rack that they like what I mean, like a Speedo store, and just get a
Right. It
line
was
of
just
Speedos and be like, are these see-through? Like,
right. And I'm just sitting there and was like, this is so weird. But it was like I was like, I have to look at it because half of the wrestlers wear trunks anyway. It was like you couldn't
yeah, I'm
tell.
like
So
who's looking?
they probably was wearing speedos. Who was paying attention? It
Like
just
who's
only the trunks.
looking? Unless
Right.
maybe it's the girls. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
the first gear I ever had was kick pads and some blue speedos.
hmm.
And when my gear finally came, I was like, Doug. Probably like a year later, never went back to that guy ever again.
Oh,
But
geez. It's so long. You like feel like you're like the creative character that took forever to debut his real gear.
right. But it was fun. I had the shoes, kick pads and a pair of speedos, and I basically was rocking out with them for a whole year.
So now you're in a tag team. Like, how long did it decide you decided? Like, I know you started, and like, when did you decide to become like be like trio? Like, you've been all this time being solo when you started wrestling. When did you
So
think about I want to be in a tag team?
so when I did a Uh, the tag team was me and this guy named Tahir, one of my friends, Tahir James, and we started teaming up. And I guess that the chemistry between me and him was good, and they was like, "We need to see more of you, uh, more of y'all two together." And we was trying to figure out a name, so I couldn't come up with a name, and he came up with a name. He was like, "How about DOA, Dead on Arrival?" So I'm sitting there, was like, "Huh, does that mean we're gonna die on arrival?" Like, I was
Jesus.
like he was like, "No,
Do we
it's
have to
just Dead
ride
on
in
Arrival."
coffins at the show and then just pop out like Taker? Like what?
Right. But we went with it, and it went really great between me and Tahir James. It just was you could tell it was so good that the comparison between me and him, and then you started realizing the difference between me and him. Um, I had more of a character, but I also had the fight to it. His was like more of a fight than less than the character and stuff, but the fans was like on my side, and um, it started falling off because it was like I know he wanted to do his own thing, and probably in his head was like, I would never be Marty Jannetty or
Oh,
whatever the
geez.
case. Yeah, so it's like I understand because I never wanted somebody to feel that way. As me wanted to do a tag team, I wanted to be like the Dudleys or something like
Mm,
that. Because I never seen like you. Of course, you've seen them like they didn't care if they was together or they fell apart. They did their own things, but they came back together because
yeah.
they
Like when
knew
Bubba Ray Dudley did the solo thing and Devon was Deacon Batista.
right.
Deacon, yeah. They
And then,
came back.
but either way, they always went back to it. It's the same thing with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. I don't know how many times they turned on each
What
other.
is it, like 50, 60 times that they separated and came back? When they first did that first separation, when he tricked him and pedigreed him, I lost my mind. I
Oh, I
punched the
did.
wall so hard that day. I
I
thought
did.
it was happening. My old friend laughed at me and was laughing at me as I'm punching the wall and yelling, fuck, fuck.
Trust me, I
I was
know.
like,
I
it's
was just like,
happening.
what?
I look like
What?
Michael Scott in The Office. It's happening. It's happening.
Dude, that's why I was sitting there. I was like, oh man, all right. And then they brought back together. And then the second time, he just did it again. I was like, the second time, the same thing. Come
They should have
on.
had Sean turn on. Am I right? Wouldn't it have been funnier, cooler if Sean turned on Trips that time?
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
he's like, we're back to super kick, and Sean rips the shirt, and it's just him. It's just the
Exactly.
new Shawn Michaels logo.
Exactly. It was right
I
there.
guess at that point, Sean was into like his new life with the Christian stuff, and he probably didn't want to be a heel anymore. They know him as Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? Like born again, and they don't want him to be the dick again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
pretty much. Even though I loved him as right there, especially when he's super put over Hulk Hogan. That's probably the best match I ever saw. Hulk Hogan and him.
yeah,
he
I've
like
been
oversaw.
speaking of the old school stuff. As you know, I'm Mr. Old School.
Right.
I just started watching the because now my parents gave me the Peacock to watch because I like watching the pay-per-views because I'm that wrestling fan that I have to watch all the pay-per-views. Um, I got a chance to I'm able to watch the old stuff, so I've been watching the King of the Ring. I'm up to King of the Ring 1993.
Stone Cold.
Is that the Stone Cold one? Because I think he is in that one.
Yeah, because I think Stone Cold was the king of the ring of that time.
93? Was it 93 he was King of the Ring?
No, if he was no, was
Because
it
I
Bret
think that
Hart?
was Brett. I
Yeah,
think that
that's
was
what I'm
Brett.
saying. I think he's a Bret, and then it was Stone Cold afterwards.
Yeah, because there's a picture of Stone Cold on the picture, but it's 93 in the first match of the night. If you haven't watched that King of the Ring, cover your ears. Spoiler alert. Bret Hart was the first match against Razor. He beats Razor, and then the second match, I forgot who was the second one. I think it was it was Mr. Perfect versus Mr. the big black guy with the fedora on. He beats Perfect
Oh,
because
Farouk.
yeah.
Yeah, Farouk.
Yeah, the big guy. He beats the guy. He had the Undertaker's urn. He stole the Undertaker's urn and he hit Perfect in the head with the urn and beat him. Mr. Voss, Mr. Hung or whatever his name is.
I forgot. It was a big, really tall guy.
Yeah, he always wore the big glasses and he always did this.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I was like,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
he cheated and hit Perfect in the head with the urn. I couldn't see Perfect hitting the perfect plex on that big dude. That's like playing WWE 2K23 and him Perfect hitting the perfect plex on Andre. That's not gonna happen.
It's not.
Besides, Andre would probably fart on him in evaporation. He would die. He would die.
Everybody said it was the biggest. Everybody always said the biggest memory about Andre the Giant, and they was like, "Oh yeah, when Hulk Hogan slammed." No, this is my biggest. It's not even the best body slam I ever saw, and it was amazing. Is when Yokozuna, they was on the ship. They was on, yeah, and was it Lex Luthor? Yeah, it was Lex
Luger.
Luthor.
It was Luger, yeah.
He come out the helicopter, walks straight to the ring, body slams, and then leaves the ring. He's like, what?
He just walked in like a thug. He's just like, yow, son, I got it. Yow, cracker. And nobody could do it all day long. And all these wrestlers coming through it was like the Warner Brothers, you know what I mean? Like the Warner Brothers cartoon when everybody keeps hitting the home run on Bugs. It's like
right.
Like it's like one wrestler's coming, it's like a line going into a movie theater, and it's just like Yoko's just like ying, and they're all like, no. The Steiner brothers, 2 men, 2 guys, not 1, 2, both tried to lift him up from each side of him, and they were just like,
right.
If I'd be like Sheldon Cooper saying if his future self comes to stop him from doing something. I want to see. Here we go. You're gonna laugh. Future Scott Steiner comes in a DeLorean and goes, "I got some math for you. You two are minus, but you're half plus." And he tells Rick to go away. I'll lift him up. Future Scott could do it. Have Future Scott step in. He'll launch him into the East River.
I love Scott's promos.
That's why I said minus you, Rick, but plus Scott. Plus Scott times 2.
Oh, man. And you just be like, what? What is he saying?
You know what I mean, Scott. Winky face. And like, no, I don't. I don't know what you mean. You know. Rick, just get out of the ring. Scott lift up Ryoko, and they throw him in the East River.
Right, and that's it. And
that's how the whole timeline gets fucked up.
Right.
Forever.
Oh, man.
The Scott Steiner brothers become the new team of the 90s. Just ruined forever. Scott and Scott, the Steiner brothers.
So it was a podcast. It's called Hills for Life. And before we got off the podcast, he was like, I need you to do a promo of he's like, I want you to do a Scott Steiner promo. And you're facing I forgot who he said I was supposed to be facing. He was like, you're facing this guy, and we need to do the equations. So I'm sitting there, it's like, oh man, he got me there. So I was like, well, when you got one guy in the ring and another guy, his opponent, 1 + 1 = 4. It's like, I said, divided by the 4 comes 2, and it was like kept going and going. It was like, wow. I love Scott. Every time Scott Steiner comes out,
like anything he does, that Steiner math, you do that Steiner math, you'll be sitting there like that meme with the guy with the math. He's going,
oh yeah,
that'll be me all day long, going minus the 3, and my calculator's just smoking on in my head. The buttons are. Here we go. Ghostbuster cover years again. spoiler alert from Ghostbusters. It's like the PK meter when Ray White waves it over to the over the new in the new movie over the ball. It's just like
Oh, yeah, the ball and it just started just going crazy.
it started exploding. So yeah, let's go into that, man. Oh my god, my 24 hours like since I seen that movie. I saw it on Thursday night when it came out, Thursday afternoon, because where I live in PA, it came out at 4:45. So I had to be there first. So I'm thinking somebody's gonna be in a flight suit, little kid or someone. Typical me. I live in Milford, PA, and I'm the only. Literally, I'm a franchisee. I have my own Ghostbusters franchise, so
Okay.
I am the only Ghostbuster in my town. Only nobody else but
What?
nobody else. So I
Oh.
showed up in my flight suit with my pack and my fedora, and the girl's like, "Wow, wow, cool, cool." So I get my cup, and they're all like, "Wow, Ghostbusters!" Like, and I had to buy the cup. Actually, the girl had the cup in her hand, ready to go for me, and she's like, "Can you follow me into the theater where the movie's going to be shown?" So I was like, "Me?" She's like, "Yeah, you. There's no one else here." I'm like, "All right." So we go upstairs. Me as we're walking into the theater, Frankie. I did a picture with the cup in my hand, like this, this way, pointing
Right.
at the cup. The wrong way. Mirror thing. You know what I mean. Pointing.
Yeah.
Yes. She sends me the picture back. The promotional company of Flagship Cinema. Thanks again to Flagship Cinema for having me there and the next that Sunday. I get the picture back. They used my picture on their website saying Ghostbuster Joe seen the movie on opening night here in the. I was like, "Where's Stewie Griffin with the bat on Brian? Where's my money? Where's my money?" He has me there. They had me come out on Sunday. Didn't see the movie again. I stayed in the lobby the whole time, taking pictures with kids. Oh my god, it was the coolest. Frankie, it was the coolest thing I ever did. It was so awesome.
That was great.
That movie, Frankie, it made me smile. I smiled when I saw Afterlife, but it was also tears in my eyes because God rest his soul. Harold, you left us too soon, brother. But you
Yeah,
gave us
that's
a lot
right.
of you gave us a lot of notes and you gave us a lot of history that'll never be forgotten.
Exactly. It's like,
But they they he left notes and fingerprints so now we can get a future generation of that beautiful containment unit. So now in the future movies, it won't look like some kind of like biohazard bomb that they were trying to build in the girls one. So
oh yeah,
like
my God, yes.
um yeah,
That
so
was
man, that movie, what was like your favorite parts that you didn't even notice, the people didn't notice?
my favorite part.
Yeah.
Man, there's a couple of them. The library was the best one too.
Yeah.
It brought back memories. Spoiler alert! If nobody haven't seen it, I'm sorry. Mother cover your ears.
Yeah.
When they was leaving the library and the same ghost was there,
Yep.
and it was like, and Ray just looked back and was like, "I remember you," like that. And I was like, "This was so, it was so good." Then they copy off of uh, the gatekeeper, one of the guys at the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
It was like, if you didn't understand, if you probably didn't understand, it was like, I like how they kind of they mixed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you have um this guy, I guess he was like a mystic art of fire and stuff. So it was
Yeah.
like how they was treating him like he was one of the gatekeepers from
Yeah.
the Ghostbusters one. So I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And
The
then
fire god. He was like
yeah, the
the
fire guy.
nephew of the fire god of that because the grandma, their grandmother, his grandmother was like the keeper. So I think they're called the fire keepers, the fire keepers, the fire gods, fire keepers. Like,
Yeah, it was like the firekeepers for like keeping the dark, but I think it was like it was more. I guess it's to me it was like the Ghostbusters of their generation. I think
yes,
it was
yes,
amazing how they didn't have the technology, but they have a way of prising like the ghosts, and it was crazy. Like it gave me, and I like how they did the if you watched the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon one.
Yeah,
And I think they did like a little shiver of the movie of the Pumpkin King.
yeah.
So I think it was like it gave me that vibe. And I
I'm
was like,
waiting for them to finally get the idea and put that dude in the movie because I was telling my friends from when I first heard they were gonna do this movie and there's gonna be ghosts we didn't see. I was like, are we gonna like? Are all the ghosts bad guys gonna be standing in a row and they all move and then you finally see Pumpkin? He's the last face and then he laughs and
right.
turns and then you see Garaka. That's what I would love to see.
I wanted to see that. I was like, if they was going to bring it back, that has to be, because it gives me that now they have the new technology of the proton packs, and it's like, oh, you can use it as a glove now. So it gave me like the extreme Ghostbuster feeling too.
Yep. I
So I was,
have a feeling that's gonna be the next because did you hear on Ghostbusters news?
yeah,
The new director, Jason's friend, the guy with the short hair that's directed this movie,
yeah.
he actually he's been looking at this is gonna give you chills. He looked at still shots and sets that they're working on for the Netflix series.
They doing a series?
Yes, they're doing
Like
a Netflix series.
no, like
Yeah.
the not the cartoon, the live.
No, it's cartoon.
Okay, all right.
But that's cool.
Now,
That's so cool. It's gonna be like
no,
Ghostbusters slash like a ghost perspective kind of thing.
okay. As long as they keep it the old fashioned cartoon, like how they doing with the X-Men.
I think they may do it like that, or they may give it a like not like a Bob's Burgers feel, but like more of a maybe an upper tone than the real Ghostbusters. But at least we know who's in charge of the script. It's the dude that did
Right.
after like Frozen Empire. You
Yeah.
know, it's not some
I liked
kid,
it.
like that didn't even watch,
Tra-
didn't live through it. Like I felt, yeah,
I no, I love it. I definitely like
I
it was
felt I felt a lot of real Ghostbusters in that movie because the way the movie didn't open up, like I told my dad, Papa Panther felt the same way. Like, um, it didn't it didn't open like every other Ghostbusters movie you've ever seen. Like, there's something weird happens, and then you see the logo, and then the Ray Parker blasts and over the
right.
PA sound, and then you see the logo with the new logo. Like, it just opened with them, Mr. Gruperson and the kids and the mom are in the Ecto flying down the street chasing a ghost. And we're like, what? Who are they chasing? What's going on? Why didn't we hear Janine say we got one? Like, what's going on? It just
Well,
opened.
I like how they did, like they brung like something that happened in the past type thing.
Yeah.
Like um like it was funny because it was like the same, it looked like the same firehouse
Yeah.
where it was at, and it was like, oh, they showed that everybody was frozen to death and everything else.
Oh, yeah, that was cool how they showed the horse. Yeah, the old school fire. The whole because I was talking. My dad's like, because my dad grew up in the city. Like my
Right.
dad grew up in New York. So sitting next to my dad watching this movie, it was hilarious. I felt like I was sitting next to Alexa because my dad was sitting there like, that's the Brooklyn Bridge. That's where the mayor is. That's the mayor's house. That's Central Park West. There's the library, and I'm just like, thanks, Alexa. Alexa off. When it'd be like, hold the button like on that speaker, be like, doo 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 doo.
I'm glad that they still had the well, they didn't have the same mayor, but they had the guy that was like the who was they was giving them trouble since day
Oh,
one.
Peck. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Peck was there.
It's like,
He was the
and I
mayor.
laughed.
He was,
And I was laughing when, like, at the end, Peter's like, "Hey," it was like, I was amazed. I was like, "This is amazing."
I told my buddy that I do my Ghostbusters show with Rain. I said to her on the phone. I said I was watching this scene, and my dad was looking at me, and he was laughing because he was like, "Oh, look, the mayor just accepted the Ghostbusters." And I said this to my dad. I was like, "That's bull crap. I would have wrote that scene completely different." Hey, you want to know how, Frankie? You know how I would have made that scene completely different?
What's that?
I would have had Peck reject the Ghostbusters. The city completely turned on Peck, like boo, and they're
Oh
grabbing
my
at him like
god!
they want to kill him. And the security
Right?
scoops in front of him, grabs Peck, puts him in the armored car that they have that he came in, and just take off. He's like, "Yo, get you Ghostbusters!" And then they get in the car and they just take off.
Oh my god!
Everybody starts
I
cheering
would
when the man
definitely.
takes off because how do you make Peck a good guy? He hates the Ghostbusters. How are
I
you gonna have him
know.
love him? Like,
He was like, I was waiting for this a long time.
yeah.
Y'all are done, and he's like, I loved every bit of it. It had so much showing the Easter eggs, and
And
it's like,
I think this was, they said Afterlife was the love letter to the fans.
yeah,
I think this was the other part of the love letter that's in the box that's inside the box that you couldn't find. You know what
oh
I mean?
yeah,
There's always two love letters in a box that you can't find. You know what I mean?
bro. I the first one when I seen it, and then the details and everything how they did the ghost of Spangler, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I was in tears, bro.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I loved every bit of it.
Yeah. You know what? They got me really good at when Egon appeared. But as you know, it's 2001. The theater's still kind of a crazy place to be in. I was wearing one of those blue masks, and I literally had to get a new mask because my mask was completely wet. I was crying, dude, crying over another man. I was like, it's like,
bro,
boy, you better not be crying.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna lie. I thought so when Spangler's kid was out in the park playing chess, and then the chess moved. I really thought that was Spangler.
Yeah.
I was like, her dad's still there. I said, this is amazing. And then it was
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. I thought it was him too. I was like, "Whoa, Egon's back." I don't know. I thought he would be back, but then I thought maybe they wouldn't want him to come back so soon. Maybe the end of the movie, he's in the window of the firehouse, and you don't see it. We all see it, but he doesn't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Maybe he's in the firehouse. The fans don't see the famous Egon appearance in the firehouse. You know, at the end of the movie where the fans are all cheering and they show like a wide shot and they'll show like the window and you see Egon standing down looking down at the guys in the firehouse. They don't see him.
yeah.
They should have did
Hmm.
that. Like a little glimmer. Yeah. Well, oh my god, dude. Thank you so much for doing this with me. This was so much fun.
Hello.
Before we go, Frankie, if there's kids that wanted to get into the wrestling business and they didn't know where to go, what kind of advice would you give them?
Hello.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Cool. I was like,
Oh
hello.
yeah, no, I was like, Frankie, if a kid wants to get in the wrestling business, what kind of advice would you give them?
Follow your dreams, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Um, we are in an era now after COVID. Um, everything done changed. Um, just if you want to be a wrestler, just go for it.
Hmm.
Um, if you just you never know. I didn't see a lot of people rise to the top. I done seen a lot of people um love to do what they do, and wrestling is um to me it just takes me out of reality. It's basically like having your own, how can I say, kumite. This is like wrestling for me is like the for I would say like my back cave.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, but just live your dream, man. If you want to be a wrestler, just find the nearest school. Start off young. You never want to start off late. If you can start off late and you have it, and you know what it takes to get to the top, then just go. But I'll say just start off young, learn every bit that you can, and then once you at that period, um, just go.
Awesome. Frankie, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. It means a lot to have you on. Please tell your wrestling friends about the podcast. And if I know you did, Frankie, but please tell your friends to come check it out and give the YouTube channel a big subscribe. And
Definitely.
please, if you haven't liked this episode, go give it a like, subscribe, and share to all your friends. I'm Joe Panther the Third,
And I am Frankie Pickard.
and we will catch you in the next one.